Guys, today we're going to talk about crafting a vision statement for your business. But first, let me ask you, have you started a book, maybe started an outline, or crafted a training, put together that keynote, and haven't really got it off the ground? Or maybe you're someone who's further along. Maybe you've already launched and you're already in business. However, you feel like things are just really slow and not moving as fast as you want it to be. If either one of those is you, this is the video you're going to want to pay attention to, because this is the foundation of where you're going and what you're trying to achieve. Now listen, the reason why I know this works so well is because I've worked with startup entrepreneurs, people who just want to launch their course, their training, their book, or their coaching program, and they are running around in circles. They've watched thousands of hours of videos. They've bought courses, they bought books on how to do it, and they just haven't really launched. Also, I've been hired by guys who've already built big businesses, million-dollar businesses, multiple figure businesses, and got stuck and couldn't figure out why they weren't growing as far as they should, especially as they grow and build a team. Today, I'm going to share that with you. Before I do, I want to let you know about our little sponsor here and who we're working with in this presentation. What you're about to see here is a presentation that I literally whipped up in less than 2 minutes. Have you ever struggled to put together a keynote presentation or any presentation with slides? I did this in 2 minutes, and if you stay to the end, I'll show you how I did it really quick. It's awesome. All right, so let's dive right in. First, I want to tell you, what is a vision statement? What is it? How does this work? You've probably heard of mission statements or vision statements, but listen, they are completely different. A vision statement is a declaration to where your company is going long term. What are the goals and aspirations? It basically paints a picture, and I don't want you to keep this picture virtual or in your mind. It's got to become physical. I'm going to share with you how to do that in just a minute. Now, listen, you might be thinking, well, Nathan, it's just me and my organization. It's just me. It's only me. It doesn't matter. You're the leader. And for people to buy into a vision, okay, you have to lead with a vision. Now, it's okay if you've already started your company and it's been windy roads, right? And maybe you've made some sales, maybe you launched your business, and that's okay, but you really haven't gotten a good structure to bring and scale with a team of people. And maybe you've hired a few people, but it hasn't really gone so well. That's because you haven't had this key foundation. Listen, this is the foundation of the business. This is the foundation. Even in your personal life, your life should have a vision. So this is really important. I'm going to show you how to structure one down. So the importance is this roadmap. It's where you're going. If you wanted a hike or some journey, right? And you just said, we're going to go to that mountain over there. That's where we want to go. We want to go to the top of that mountain. However, if you don't have a map on how to get there, right, and which valleys and hills to climb over, even the right gear, and we'll talk about gear maybe in another video, but even if you don't have the right gear, you'll never really make it to the top of that mountain, or it will be extremely difficult and very long. However, if you have a map, it will help you create endurance. It'll give you a sense of purpose and meaning. It'll give you that sense of motivation. And guess what? When you can actually go with other people, not go alone, because people will see the vision. They'll see that there's a map. We have something we're following. It engages the team and other stakeholders and even shareholders to say, this is where they're going. This is the direction. And you want to make it crystal clear. So here are some key characteristics of an effective vision statement. Okay. First, it's got to be inspiring. Okay. It's got to invoke excitement. That's really important. It's got to be oh, this sounds great. This sounds really cool and exciting. I want to dive into something that recently I've been studying in 2024. I had the pleasure, and let's just call it a pleasure. I had a life-changing transformation in 2024. So many good things happened, but I had the opportunity to take 2 of my kids on separate times. First, one of my daughters, and then I took my son to go to Disney, one in Paris and one in Orlando, Florida, at Magic Kingdom. And one of the things that really kind of clicked for me was Walt Disney's story, his biography, and how he built this amazing parks that are now global and in a brand that is it's just amazing. It's one of the biggest brands. The company has been around for over 100 years, and it's big. But it all started with Walt's vision for what he wanted and what he had. And he took that vision even before the first land was purchased, before the first cement, before the first piece of wood was nailed together. It was all a vision. And guess what? It was exciting. So exciting that he actually decided to take the show. He actually decided to make a show and put it on TV and talk about his vision. And he made it exciting. I remember he had this little pointer. He would go around with his big stick and he'd just point this is Disneyland and this is what we're going to do and we're going to have. And that would create excitement to the viewers. And people were like, wow, I'm sure there were skeptics, right? I'm sure there's skeptics all the time. I'm sure they were there. And there were skeptics that they were so oh, that's not going to happen. Or then people would start to see oh, this is actually going to happen. And oh, I want to go check out this place. And today it's the cool thing you do with your family, or your kids are going solo like me. But anyway, that has to be there. The excitement has to be there. Next, it's got to be clear. It's got to be so clear and easy to understand that people just get it. For example, the slogan of Disney is the happiest place on earth. That's pretty clear. When you're down and out, or you're not, maybe your life is boring and miserable, you're just thinking man, I just want to be happy. Well, where can I go? The happiest place on earth, right? So it's got to be clear. It's got to be that simple in one sentence. You just get it, okay? Next, it has to be measurable. That means it has to be quantifiable. It has to be in a way where you can track. And you know what? Whatever is not tracked and measured, it won't happen. If you're not tracking your results, it won't come to be. It won't even sustain itself. So you have to be tracking your results from your vision. It's got to be there. It's got to be hey, this is what we want to do this month. This is what we want to do this week, and so on and so forth. Now, here's something that's very powerful that all my clients really love this. I've been coaching people for over 15 years in different capacities, in real estate and business, but also in the knowledge business. And one thing people really like when I'm working with them is, yes, I kind of kick them in the butt a little bit, a virtual kick-ass situation, but also, they love the fact that I put pressure on getting things done, deadlines, and that's really important. So if you're trying to launch a webinar, create a book, or maybe do your first speaking engagement, those things I really kind of kick into overdrive because it's the thing that brings in the cash flow. And if you know anything about my brand, for over 10 years, we've been talking about how to create clarity, which is part of the vision, build your confidence, okay? And increase cash flow. This formula it's the most powerful formula out there. Build clarity. First, you gain clarity, build your confidence, and gain cash flow. It's really, really powerful. Lastly, it's got to be relevant. It should align with your core values. Now, I do a whole deep dive with my clients on core values. This is really important for the whole company, what the values are. That's another topic and another conversation for another time. But something I do with my clients, we go deep into core values because it actually sets a deeper tone in the organization that seeps into the clients, the customers, okay? Really important. Most people brush over these things. They have maybe they have a vision statement, or they have a vision or a mission statement, but they don't go into the deep core values of the organization, which is something that I've been working with my clients for a long time. All right, so the next thing is defining your organization's core purpose. So what exactly does your company do? What is the unique, we call it USP, your unique selling, or your unique value proposition, a UVP, a USP, but what value are you bringing to the customers? Why do you exist? Why are you in business in the first place? So you have to clearly define what that is. Now, like I said, this is typically a process. When my clients usually work with me, the funny thing is they hire me because they want more money. That's the first part. We need to increase sales. We need to go to 6 figures. We need to go to 7 figures. Yes, But along the journey, we have to do this like grunt work. We have to do the work that, I don't want to do it. So sometimes we take a whole day. Sometimes take 2 days. We'll go into a boardroom. We'll go into a nice quiet place, depending on the environment, or we'll go out to one of my mansions in the US. And what we'll do is we'll just go through and flush out these things. And it does take sometimes 2 days to flush out one of these things, the mission statement, the vision statement, the core values. But let me tell you, once you do it, it changes the trajectory of your business. It's amazing, especially when you're bringing people into your organization and you have a team. Next is articulating your desired future state. Okay, this is where are you going to be in the future? What are you going to look like? How do you see your company? What do you see happening? How do you envision not just your own personal life in the organization, but how do you see the vision for your business? And this could be not only like in size of dollars, okay, or in money, financial, but it also should be like the impact. How many customers do you want to impact? For example, from a financial standpoint, we used to have this thing in my organization where it was, we're going to go to $1 million. And many of my clients did in real estate, and in my real estate trainings, in my coaching, many of them did. Now, for my clients who did coaching consulting, some of them were already launching or already had things going on. I'll never forget one of my clients who was selling courses but wanted $1 million launch. So they had already done, I think, 2.7 million in selling their course, but they never had $1 million weekend, okay, or $1 million launch per se, okay. Well, with the processes we put in place, we made it happen. Okay. Those are the things that you have to envision. Like, what do you want? Not only just for customers, okay, but also for your employees, even for the society. Maybe you want to give back. Just don't think short term about your organization. Think about long term too. How do you want your company to be in the long term? How do you want it to grow? So, and you want to take your vision and your mission with your values, like I was mentioning earlier. You want to combine these all together. Like you see in the image here, it's like a tree, okay? Like think of like an oak tree. And these elements, these 3 key elements, your vision, your mission, and your core values are like the roots of the tree of your organization. It actually all comes together. And when those are solid, when your roots are solid, you build a really nice tree that's solid and lasts for a really long time. And if you're wondering, like, how do these companies actually get to 100 years? The average company fails within the first 5 years. Did you know that? Average company fails within the first 5 years. And even after they break through past the 5-year mark, sometimes their sales are not even that great. Sometimes they start seeing 7 and 10 years. They really start exploding after that. But to actually go beyond that to 95 years after that, to cross the 100-year mark, I mean, really think about that. It's not just money. It's deeper than that. All right. So those things have to come together. Next, what you want to do is involve your team in this process. Involve your team in the process. Get them involved. Like I mentioned, you can do this on your own if you're just starting out, okay? And sometimes I do this with my clients who are solopreneurs and they're just getting started. That's fine. I do it with them, so it's like a team effort there. But even if you have maybe just a virtual assistant or an assistant locally, do this with your team. This helps promote and foster like ownership, not shareholder ownership, or percentage ownership. But you get my point. It actually fosters like this collaboration, togetherness, and ensures that, hey, some people have good ideas in your organization, and this way it aligns, everybody gets involved and they feel like they're a part of the organization. That is so important to bring people on board. They have to be involved in that. And that's when you have this in front of your organization and they see it, not only in your hiring process, but actually as they work day to day, they see this visually somewhere. So I want to talk to you about that in just a second. All right, next is this. You have to communicate your vision. You have to get it out there. You have to talk about it. Maybe in a video, maybe it's on your website, maybe it's a presentation that you do to your stakeholders. Your stakeholders are going to be the people maybe who are investing in your company, could be your stakeholders of your employees, could be your spouse, right? So your stakeholders, it helps align everyone to where you're going, where you're taking this organization. Communicating it is very important. Now, This is what I was mentioning earlier, making your vision statement a living document, okay? It should not be in your head. It should not be tucked away in your journal or in your diary, nothing like that. What you need to do is post it in a place that you can see it in your organization. You put it up on the walls. You paint it on the walls, put a sticker on the walls, put whatever, make it big, make it where people can see it in the lunchroom, in the washrooms, and wherever it goes. Put it in places where people can see. Now, one thing I did, it was really cool, and I can't say I took, this was Nathan's idea, but in the collaboration with one of my clients, I said, listen, guys, we need to make this vision statement visible and we need to foster collaboration. How can we do that? I'll never forget the gentleman that said, well, why don't we take these pieces of paper, we draw parts of our core values and also parts of the vision statement, and then we post it around different parts of the facility, the office building. And I was like, oh, cool. That's a great idea. So everyone got to write out the different engagements. It was a small group of about 20 people. And then as they went through their day, they would just paste it. One was on the wall, one was on the front door, one was in the washroom, it was all over the place, right? It was next to the water dispenser. So people would see these things. And actually from that meeting with that team gave me that idea, and I continued it with other clients, and it works really well. It just fosters that collaboration, getting people involved. Don't make it a living document. Don't just keep it tucked away in your diary. So make it real. Next, what you want to do is revisit and refine. Revisit and refine. So periodically, now with some of my clients, I tend to do this sometimes twice a year, but you should definitely have an annual getaway, maybe your company annual meeting, and refine your vision statement. It may need tweaking. If it doesn't, then great, keep it going. But it's gonna need refining as your company evolves, as it grows. It's gonna need to evolve. So it's like this living document, and it's always maybe changing or morphing a little bit. And this, what it does, it ensures that you're relevant, I don't call it modern, but you're relevant to the times and to the company's growth. That's really important. And you might have seen this maybe in marketing. Maybe you see like slogans change. You see, taglines change. That's more for marketing purposes, but internally, this is really important where the vision is changed and aligned with what's happening in the organization. And that's really good. And that is done by the leader, and that leader is you. So listen, if you don't have this set up in your organization yet, I encourage you to do it. Like I said, I do this with all my clients, whether they like it or not. It's really important. It's the foundation. It's imperative to your future growth, to bringing teams of people, hiring more people. It's really important. So that is today's lesson. If this was helpful to you, give it a like or if there's points that you wanted me to cover or you have questions, just throw it in the comments so I know. Now, I want to tell you how I told you this earlier. I was going to tell you how I created this presentation in less than 5 minutes, and simply by using AI and a prompt. So I like to use this app. It's called Gamma app or Gamma. I think from what I know, it's Gamma, G-A-A. I'll put a link in the description, and you can sign up and start using it for free. However, I think I have the paid version because it gives you more AI and you can use images. Now, to be very clear, if you look at this presentation here, I didn't add one photo to this. I didn't have to find a photo, crop a photo, any of that. Okay, I created a very detailed prompt in what I wanted to say, and I added a little bit of imagery in the prompt, like what I wanted to visually see, and it generated all of that for me, like in less than 3 minutes. So if you are ever stuck on how to use like Keynote or PowerPoint and you want to learn all those things, guess what, guys? Just right through, and that's what you can use. So guys, if you like this video and it's helpful, let me know. Give this video a like. Talk to you later.